So here's a compilation of Joel Embiid's defensive highlights versus Oklahoma State. It's split up into two sections. First, I show his strength, which is rim protection, and then I move on to his shakier area, which is his rawness and lack of experience defending the pick and roll and other cerebral areas. But first, rim protection. You can see here, Markel Brown blows right by Andrew Wiggins to get to the rim, but Embiid's there for the shot block, so no big deal. Now here, Marcus Smart blows by Wayne Selden and gets fouled, but it would have been another block for Embiid if Selden hadn't committed the foul. Instead, Marcus Smart gets free throws. Here you see Embiid with a sweet alley-oop, and then he hustles back in transition defense. So even though Marcus Smart gets to the rim, it's a little use when a monster's there, and he has to kick it out to Brian Williams for a considerably worse look. Now Perry Ellis gets beat this time by Markel Brown, but once again, Embiid is there and a block happens. Now here Perry Ellis misses the hook shot and Embiid crashes the offensive rebounds, but he still hustles back in transition and forces Marcus Smart into a difficult shot attempt that misses. And at this point, it seems apparent that Embiid is good at protecting the rim, but LeBron Nash is not convinced. So to start the second half, first he spins out of the double team, but Embiid meets him on the other side of the rim for the block. And now Brian Williams gets the ball, but he can't shoot over Embiid either, and he has to give it up to Marcus Smart, and then there's too little time on the shot clock for anything to happen, and Oklahoma State turns it over. And LeBron Nash is not done with Embiid, though, so he immediately tries to attack him again, and a similar result happens. And now I assume he's just steaming at this point because he comes at him once again and he bowls in him, creates a little space, but still can't finish with Ellis's help. And then he gets blocked again. And now he's just heated up. Now, actually, check Marcus Smart in the lower left corner coming in and being a great leader by covering LeBron Nash's mouth. Somehow Embiid emerged with the technical and Nash didn't, but it's okay because Embiid did more of that thereafter. Now, this possession is pretty awesome. First, he contests the long two from Kamari Murphy, which badly bricks. And then Marcus Smart receives the offensive rebound with the shot clock winding down. So he drives to the rim, and predictably, he gets blocked. And Phil Forte has to chuck the desperation three that misses. And Kansas gets the rebound. Now LeBron Nash gets some mini redemption when Embiid's a hair late on the contest and gets called for the goaltend. That was the first time they scored on an Embiid rim contest all game long, and that's 4:05 in the second half. Now Nash gets his legit redemption when he finishes with an explosive dunk. But overall, very impressive performance by Embiid. Now let's look at his weakness, which is pick and roll defense. So to open the game, Embiid does an okay job trapping Marcus Smart on the pick and roll, but on the recovery, he has a bit of a lapse, and he lets Nash blow right by him for an easy layup. And on this next play, he actually commits his only foul of the game on the pick and roll hedge, in spite of all of those rim contests and shot blocks, which is really pretty amazing. Here, Smart goes around the screen, Embiid switches, he kind of contests the three. Nothing wrong with that. On this next play, he shows a bit of indecision defensively. You see Kansas traps on the pick and pop, and Embiid kind of runs out halfway like he's not really sure what he wants to do, which is probably the worst thing he can do. He needs to commit one way or the other. Here he shows his rawness again as he doesn't stop the ball at all on the hedge, and he lets Smart get all the way to the rim and dump it off to Murphy for an easy layup. Here he does a slightly better job stopping the ball, I guess, since he at least forces Smart to pull up for a mid-range shot, which Smart badly bricks. Here, Murphy tricks him a bit as he sets up for the screen, but then he slips to the hoop, and by the time Joel realizes what's going on, Murphy's already dunking, and it's too late to do anything at all. And then on this next play, the same recurring thing happens. He doesn't do a great job of stopping the ball on the pick and roll. Smart gets to the hoop, and he creates a pretty decent three-point look for Forte, which he nails. And now at this point, Oklahoma State's in desperation mode, and they try to screen to the right, and Embiid is there. Then they try to screen again to the left, and Embiid is once again there. And now Selden can step out and contest the Marcus Smart three that misses. So that's a pretty good job by Joel on that one. And overall, the lapses aren't a huge buzzkill because he still has no experience. So the real question is how fast can he learn? And right here, this is after he got his 8th block. It finally occurs to Oklahoma State, gee, this guy's causing problems at the rim. Let's try something different. So you see Murphy at the top of the key with Embiid guarding him. And they use Murphy to lob the ball into Nash, who lobs the ball into Smart, who's isolated on Frank Mason. And finally, he gets an easy rim shot that he completes for his first field goal of the game. So then Oklahoma State, very next possession, says, hey, let's try it again. And this time Embiid's ready for it, and he sags off. And he traps Smart here, and then he eventually causes the turnover. So nothing huge, but it's a nice sign. So the other thing about Embiid is that he scores too. So if you've made it this far, you've earned some offensive highlights.
If he played with how good Kansas was in that first half, they'd still be up there. A lot of impact from either Nash or Smart. Embiid, the touch. Back in the game with those 4 fouls. Lob and slap! Embiid! A major throwdown! Him outlets after the penetration. Embiid, left hand.